Hey guys, JP here, and today I'm going to have an episode of Heli Tips, and we're actually going to be going back to the basics of talking about the loadout of the helis. So, we're going to be talking about the scout helicopter and the attack helicopter. So, let's go ahead and start with the attack helicopter. So, first let's talk about the rockets to use. Smart rockets really are kind of trash. Yes, they guide to the target, but they don't really do enough damage. They're not even worth considering, to be honest. So the choice comes down between Hydra rockets and Zuni rockets. And Zuni rockets and Hydra rockets are about the same against tanks. They both can kill tanks in one strafe, but the difference is the reason I prefer Zunis is you can actually kill an attack heli with 4 Zunis and kill a transport chopper with about between 4 and 6 Zunis. And you got to keep on your gunner's going to be shooting too. So you're going to absolutely kill helis in like half a second with your Zuni shooting at them and the gunner shooting his cannon at them. And yes, Hydras are a little bit better against infantry, and you get more rockets out of them, and they fire quicker. Yeah, they have all those little advantages, but they can't kill attack helis nearly as quick, or transport helis nearly as quick as Zunis do. So that's the reason I prefer Zunis. I do know some people who actually prefer Hydras, but at the end of the day, I believe that Zunis are the better choice. Then let's talk about heat seekers or tow. I actually prefer heat seekers because so you can ensure that you're going to win air-to-air fights. I do know of one of my pilots uses tow missile because he likes to be able to kill tanks. He comes up close behind the tank and hits them with tow missiles and does a ton of damage. Yes, I see that being helpful, and it may work for some people, but with my personal playstyle and the way I like to play, I like to have heat seekers to ensure that I'm winning air-to-air fights. And then when it comes to countermeasure, I prefer ECM over flares for the simple reason that ECM is buggy and it doesn't block missiles once they've already been fired at you a lot of times, and it takes forever to recharge, but it lasts for a super long time, so it gives you a long time to fly away. If you pop flares, and then after the flares go away, you're kind of a sitting duck for a while. And then ECM lasts for like 8 seconds or something crazy, so you have time to get away. So even if the missile hits you, ECM blocks anything coming on after that, and I don't know, I prefer ECM because I feel like it's superior overall. And then when it comes to upgrades with the attack helicopter, stealth coating, I don't really like stealth coating because I honestly don't really see much of a difference at all with stealth coating. Yeah, I don't see that being helpful, so I either use gyro stabilizer or air radar. I do like air radar, believe it or not. Because you will never be surprised by an attack heli rushing up on you, scout heli rushing up on you, or anything of that. You're always ready for anything. Gyro stabilizer, I do go back and forth between these two because gyro stabilizer ensures that your heli does not spin in circles when you take a critical hit. So that's super helpful. So yeah, I rock back and forth between these two, air radar and gyro stabilizer. Then the gunner loadout is pretty straightforward. You have I prefer TV missile way over laser guided. Yeah, because TVs, you can guide them, do whatever you want with them, fire them at whatever you want, and they do a ton of damage, and you get 2 of them. So that's why I prefer TV missile. I prefer zoom over IRNV or thermal. Only time I ever use any of these is if I'm playing like a night map or if the sandstorm comes in on Omen or something like that. But really, zoom is your better option overall for almost every single map. Then the last thing, the gunner belt feeder, is obviously better than the gunner proximity scan because the gunner proximity scan just scans near the heli and not super helpful. But gunner belt feeder actually helps your gun reload a little bit faster. So yep, that's pretty much it for the attack helicopter. So let's begin with the scout helicopter. So the first thing is let's start from the bottom this time. Talk about the upgrades. So I don't really prefer air radar for the scout helicopter for the simple reason that you're a lot more mobile and getting surprised is a lot less likely, and I don't really like it that much on the scout heli. It's kind of so I prefer to only use air radar if I'm in the attack heli because I can't get away from threats as easily with the attack heli. And then the belt feeder, I don't like belt feeder with the scout heli because I really don't notice much of a difference at all with the reload times. Proximity scan, same reason, just scans around the vehicle, not really helpful at all. And then stealth coating and gyro stabilizer. I prefer gyro stabilizer out of all of these because with stealth coating, I don't see much of a difference at all. I feel like they lock on just as quick, maybe a split second of a difference, but nothing worth keeping. So I prefer gyro stabilizer, so my heli doesn't spin in circles and hit buildings and stuff. So that's why I prefer gyro stabilizer. And then countermeasures, I prefer it for the same reason, like I said with the attack heli. So I have time to get away from threats and things of that sorts. Alright, so now let's talk about the primary weapon and the heat seekers. So I prefer the heat seekers for the same reason. So you can ensure that you win air-to-air fights a lot more easily, and you get the first lock, and you damage him, rush him once he's hit by your heat seeker. And yeah, it gives you a huge advantage in air-to-air fights. Now, there is a reason to use laser guided. I'll explain that in just a second after we go over the primary weapon. So the primary weapons, everybody knows that prior to the last patch, 25s were definitely superior to miniguns. Yeah, miniguns might have been a little bit better against air, but 25 shot the other little bird pilot right out of cockpit, would shoot rep guys off. Like, it was crazy how much damage they did. They had a ton of splash damage. They shredded infantry. You could damage lavs. You could damage tanks. You could hit boats, jet skis, anything you could possibly think of you could hit with 25s. But now with the last patch, what they've done is they've made miniguns absolutely shred air vehicles. Like, it's insane how quickly they kill air vehicles. And they actually go through active protection on boats, which is really cool. They have a lot of range on them, and you don't have to worry about ammo. So miniguns are actually a lot better than they used to be. But the problem with them is they don't have like any splash damage at all compared to the 25s, and you have to hit the infantry dead on to get kills. Yes, if you hit them, you kill them very quickly, but it's a lot more difficult to kill infantry with it. So what it comes down to is, should you use 25s or miniguns, obviously. So I prefer to use 25s in most situations, like in pubs and stuff. But you have to keep in mind that if you're using 25s and the other scout heli is using minis, he's probably going to have a little bit of an advantage on you air-to-air fights. So you have to play more tactically, you have to come up on his flank, and you have to be a little more sneaky. You can't just get into 1v1 fight with him, because if he is equal to you in skill or better than you, he's more than likely going to win, for the simple reason of how good minis are against air vehicles. But I actually do like 25s a lot for almost every single map because of how you can shred infantry with these things. But the thing is the good thing is, if you use miniguns, you don't really have to run heat seekers. You can run laser guided, because minis have so much range that you can like hit a scout heli from like across the map, and you can run laser guided to kill tanks. Yes, there's negatives to this and positives too, depending on which you prefer, but my default loadout looks just like this: 25s, heat seekers, ECM, and gyro stabilizer. Sometimes I turn on minis and I actually leave heat seekers on. That's my personal loadout. But yeah, that's about it. So mainly the only controversial thing to keep in mind is, should you use 25s and minis? And if you use minis, you can use laser guided. It's up to you. It all comes down to your personal playstyle and how you enjoy playing this game. Whether you die a little bit more and have a few less kills by using the minis, because you're not going to get as many kills on infantry, or if you want to use 25s, maybe lose a scout heli fight here and there, or it just depends. Like I said, it just depends all on your play style and how you want to play this game. I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you did, please click that like and subscribe tab, and until next time guys, this is JP out.